Jungkook mansion living room. Taehyung and Tae-Hee walked in Jungkook mansion. Tae-Hee was carrying Tae-Hee on his arm and her baby was still glued in her hand. There was no way she left the baby alone. It is always in her hand. When they reached at the middle of the mansion, Taehyung saw Jungkook standing with his back facing them, but the moment he turned, his face was surveying. His eyes moved to Taehyung, then Tae-Hee, which is still in Taehyung cool. Jungkook, I need to talk with you alone. He put his words straight forward. Tae-Hee, Daddy, you didn't kiss me, she pouted in between, interrupting the winds. Jungkook rubbing his face. I'm sorry, baby, I just forgot. He started to scold himself. How can he neglect Tae-Hee, whom he considered as his own daughter? Tae-Hee sadly. Taehyung uncle didn't forget to kiss me. He always remember. Taehyung looked at Tae-Hee, then Jungkook. He wanted to say something, but he don't know what he should say. Jungkook was looking at Tae-Hee with pity eyes. He just hoped that he has the courage to shout and say that Taehyung uncle is her damn father, not him. But he just can't help but due to the situation for friendship. Taehyung interrupting. Tae-Hee, I need to talk with Jungkook related to work. Can you leave us alone for some minutes? Tae-Hee nodded politely. Jungkook, let her be with my maid, more safe. He carried her from Taehyung hole and disappeared from the living room. Taehyung was standing alone in the middle of the living room. He has no idea what Jungkook wanted to discuss with him, but somehow he could guess it is surely related to the marriage, or maybe you was here to meet him. He kept waiting, and for some minutes later his vision being disturbed. He blinked his eyes several times, trying to brush away those disturbances. But it wasn't that possible. His head started to spin again. He inhaled and exhaled some, trying his best to suppress the torture. Suddenly, he had been pulled through his shoulder and a hard punch landed on his handsome face. Within few seconds, Taehyung's body lay already lying on the ground with his eyes closed and his face was spilled. Jungkook was surely stunned with what just happened. He didn't know his one punch would take Taehyung unconscious. He rushed toward him and started to pat his cheek. Jungkook, Taehyung, he called for a few number of times and yet getting no response. Without wasting any more minute, Jungkook took Taehyung to his room and immediately he dialed for Aman and informed him Taehyung's condition. Aman was ready back. He took called Jungkook that the doctor will arrive at his present resident and he would be there in few minutes. After some time in Jungkook's room, Jungkook and Aman were pacing in the room while the doctor was diagnosing Taehyung. Jungkook asked Aman few times, but none of the words came out from Aman's mouth. They could see Taehyung coming to conscious with his finger moving, so does his brown phone. The doctor took his bag and went out of the room along with Aman and Jungkook following from behind. Both of them were waiting for information while Jungkook wanted to know more than everything which been hidden from him. Aman, how is he now? Doctor, critical. He needs treatment. We need to start the therapy as soon as possible. It is not too late. He is not even taking medicine properly. He is risking his life. The doctor voiced out his anger from such patient. Jungkook frustrated. Can you tell me what is happening here and what medication you are talking about? He gripped angle at the doctor and Aman. Doctor, he is suffering from liver disease. Jungkook's popularity lips were trembling and he don't want to believe this. Someone put his hand on Jungkook's shoulder only to receive a rough wave from the young man. Aman, Jungkook looking at the doctor. Is there any possibility to recover him from this disease? He didn't look at Aman. While his eyes were glued on at the doctor, he wanted to hear his. He is dying for years. Doctor, he still has a chances and it is not that late for him. We should start the therapy by this week and with modern medication help he can recover. Another delay will only cause him and make sure he can't touch the alcohol. Even one single drop is a poison for him. Jungkook signed for some second and thanked the doctor for giving little hope to them. The doctor left. Man continuing, but Sar is not agreeing for any treatment. I have tried some months and only to receive his ignorance for his health. Jungkook, he can't do this, Aman. He has a family and a doctor. He can't be a coward. And you, why didn't you told me earlier? Why did you hide my friend's health condition? At least you have informed me. I won't let him touch alcohol. Do you have any idea how much he drank yesterday? He was exploding in liquor. He raged out at Aman. The pain of losing his friend was intolerable. Aman, he beat me in a promise. I tried my level best to convince him and always make him to stay from alcohol, but he never listened to me. I found him fainted in his room when he was in US. From there, I get to know that he was sick. Jungkook brushed his hand through his hair. He knew there is no point comforting Aman here as only Taehyung would be able to answer him. He stormed inside the room and saw Taehyung seated on the bed, leaning on his beak on the headboard. Probably he heard the argument that Aman and Jungkook shared. Jungkook, I am getting your appointment fixed with the doctor and you are starting your therapy soon. He snapped out, Taehyung, you are not going to do anything. Jungkook angrily, I am not here to listen to you, no. Just look at yourself, Taehyung. Just for once, see what have you done with yourself. Taehyung didn't say what and prefer stayed up. Jungkook took few steps ahead and seated at the edge of the bed, his voice up. Jungkook, we can make everything back to normal, Taehyung. You can get back your life, you can get back your daughter Tae, and everything, just don't lose hope. We will get you best doctor, and I have faith that you will be recovered from all this illness. Taehyung with crack in his voice. If I wanted to recover, I have started the treatment long back. There is no point for you to convince me. I am done with my life. My deeds haunting me, and whenever I see you, it will remind me that I destroyed her life. I don't deserve her. She deserves someone better. In these few days of mine, I wanted to see her happy and content. And Tae, I want you to love her even more than you love me. Do it for our friendship. Jungkook hugged Taehyung and let the manly tears roll down. Jungkook, please don't do this, Taehyung. This is not the sort of the situation. I can't afford to lose my friend. Nor you will be able to handle this. And Tae, she is your daughter, Taehyung. At least do it for her. Taehyung didn't say a word after that. He just embraced Jungkook into a tight hug. However, they didn't pay an eye to a figure which is standing near the balcony and hear their talks. She didn't understand each and every word they spoke, but some of them were clear as crystal for her to learn the truth. After some time, after taking sample of rest in Jungkook room, Taehyung opened his eyes and saw a small girl. Tae seated beside him, holding his hand tightly in her tiny palm. He rubbed his eyes, though the vision was a bit blurred. There was still little ache left in his head after taking some needed rest. Taehyung, hi. He approached his daughter with a smile on his lips. Tae didn't utter a word. In fact, she leaned on his chest and clenched the collar of Taehyung tight in her hand. Taehyung, what happened? Confusedly. Tae, can we go home? She stammered the word uncle will come out from her mouth after this. Taehyung, is everything okay with you? He sat on the bed, taking her on his lap, but yet she wasn't leaving his collar, as she thought if she loosened the grip, he will gone. Taehyung, I think you are missing your mama. Let me take you home. We were here since afternoon. You might be worried. He made his own assumptions while heading downstairs. He saw Aman and Jungkook discussing on something, and they stopped when they realized his presence. Living room. Aman, how are you feeling now, sir? Jungkook and Aman glanced at Tae. For once looking that way, she snuggled into Taehyung and holding him as her life depends on him. But none of them say a word. Taehyung much better. Jungkook, Aman will drive you home. You are not in term of driving. Taehyung nodded weakly as he didn't want to argue anymore on this. Aman, sir, I received an email from Dr. James, your psychiatrist. Taehyung just nodded weakly as he understood what Aman wanted to say. Jungkook, good to hear that you consulted a doctor to overcome your habits. But I will be more than happy if you start taking your health seriously. Please, Taehyung, at least for now, listen to me. Really put million of hope, wishing that Taehyung would agree to start his therapy and lead a healthy life. He don't have the strength to see his friend dying before his eyes. Taehyung, we will discuss this later, not now. I need to leave. He kissed Raman through his eyes to make the car ready while he will be out in a while. Taehyung, I know you was here in the morning to discuss with you, and now I'm hoping for the same from you. Do it for me, Jungkook. Consider the last gift you should give me. Jungkook, I just can't believe how you can insist him to do something like this. Jungkook, you are giving your life to me, Taehyung. You won't able to breathe. Taehyung, I'm already feeling suffocated. The day I destroyed her, not anymore. What can Jungkook say further? He was adamant with his words and not willing to back up. But somewhere his heart was whispering to him that they are a ray of hope to make everything back in order with their life if only they wanted to. Jungkook moving ahead. Tae, won't you kiss me before leaving? There was strict silence from her end, which they were noticing since long. Jungkook, what happened to her? He asked Taehyung, who was equally confused. Taehyung, I don't know. She is behaving so weird since just now, and upon that, I have no idea for how long she was sitting on the bed holding my hand. Jungkook raised his eyebrows. He did start. He gestured towards Taehyung. Tae gestures towards Taehyung was knowing seemed used started to accept his presence near her, but what will happen when this man is no more in the world? Will she able to? Jungkook, you might know well why this sudden attachment she is feeling for you, don't you? Taehyung didn't comment anything and left from Jungkook mansion after sharing a hug. After some time, Kim Mansion living room. The white SUV halted at the entrance of Kim Mansion. Taehyung told Aman to leave with the SUV and pick him tomorrow morning so that they can leave to office together. He need to sort out few issues, carrying Tae on his arm. Taehyung went inside the mansion. His eyes fell on you, who was seated on a couch at the living room. The moment you saw them, you took small steps and stood right before Taehyung with your eyes only on your daughter. I will take her from here. It taken you didn't look into his eyes and took Tae from his embrace. The little girl didn't resist from going into her mother's arms. Taehyung, something is wrong with her. I guess I should call the doctor. He was about to take out his mobile to dial the doctor, but unfortunately he has been stopped by you. I will take care of her. Looking into his eyes. Taehyung, I know you will take a good care of her, but let me ring the doctor. It won't harm me in any way. He protested. I don't want you to do anything for her. She is my daughter. Her chosen word should raise the anger in him. Taehyung, and I am her dam. You snapped immediately. No, you are not. You refused every right which was probably yours. She is the sudden crying voice of the Tae blasted every corner of the mansion. She was being sandwiched between them. And Taehyung was hell worried now. Taehyung, touching her head. Are you feeling pain anywhere? Her tears were dripping from her eyes. She was weeping badly. Taehyung wasn't able to tolerate her tears. Baby, what happened? Why are you crying? You asked softly, putting your anger on Taehyung aside. She wiped Tae's tears, but yet it wasn't stopping anyway. Baby. Tae, don't scold him. She sobs in between, taking her words out. You and Taehyung looked at each other before their whole concentration fall on Tae. Taehyung, she is not scolding me. We are just talking, and we are sorry for making you afraid. This won't happen, and both promise. You two nodded, promising to Tae that such incident would never repeat again. In fact, you could see your little angel started to get attached with her father, and her mother's scolding bring a huge discomfort in her. Seems she wasn't able to bear anything against this man, which was once a stranger. Few hours later in Taehyung room, the next few hours passed quickly. Taehyung wasn't able to sleep and he thought of completing some urgent work while require his attention. And at the same time, he need to call Dr. Jim. After checking and replying to most of the emails related to work, he took out his iPhone and directly ring Dr. Jim. It was probably noon in US and this conversation might lead few hours as he was still using Dr. Jim help consulting his habits, even though he already left everything with the help concern. But yet he was afraid, what if the same incidents repeat? Took nearly 1 year for Taehyung to have little faith within himself that he no longer need in terms of pleasure, but somehow he still referred Dr. Jim most of the time so that he won't fall in the old track anymore. The call been connected to Dr. Jim's office by his assistant. Taehyung, good afternoon, Jim. Dr. Jim, it's so nice to hear you, Taehyung. So how are you? He hasn't spoke to him since Taehyung left to Korea. Taehyung, fine, replied shortly. Dr. Jim, doesn't seem like one. Is everything fine with you? Concern reflect through his voice. Taehyung, just work and nothing personal. He didn't want to speak anything on phone. Dr. Jim, how is your little girl? Did you meet them? He was very well aware about his patient life and their background. Taehyung, she is beautiful, just like her mother, and her smile always reminds me of you. And the surprising is, she has a lot of similarity with me. Our likes most match with each other. He smiled weakly. Dr. Jim, that's because she is your daughter. It feels good to hear that you are spending some time with them. See, I told you, you don't need my help anymore. You just have to think forward and everything will be fine. He assured him. Taehyung, yeah, everything will be fine within a week. Dr. Jim, a week? Why that's so? Taehyung, I will tell you when I meet you personally. Jim phone is pro. Dr. Jim, you coming back? He wasn't able to believe this. He thought Taehyung went Korea to sort out his personal problems, but seems he wasn't. Taehyung, my flight is on Sunday and I will meet you by Monday. He was about to cut the call, but stopped when Jim was still speaking from another end. Dr. Jim, surprisingly, what? But why? Taehyung, I need to hang out now. We will talk when we meet on Monday. Kindly don't inform anything to Aman. It make it only between us. I hope you got me, James. The call been cut by Taehyung, even a puzzle James behind. It was already midnight when Taehyung entered his room after completing most of his work in the study room. His head was literally paining as he stayed at the laptop screen for hours, or most probably by side effects of the illness. He opened the room door and saw Tae seated on his bed holding the Barbie he gifted. Taehyung, you still awake? Tae, can I sleep here today? She requested with her short voice. As usual, he wasn't able to deny her. Taehyung, yeah, sure, let me get fresh first and you make yourself comfortable. He took his night suit and went in the bathroom to get a quick bath before he can sleep with his daughter. Although it was the first time he was living with her, he wanted to cherish the moment so that he won't regret later on. He came out from the bathroom with a towel in his hand. He used the towel to wipe his hair, which he just washed, thought the headache might reduce. Unfortunately, it still remained. He placed the towel aside and jumped for the bed, taking his daughter in his arms. Tae started to giggle when the water droplets fall on her. Taehyung, did your mama know you are sleeping here? She think for some second before she continued. Taehyung, I told Jaina. Mama might be sleeping. I don't want to disturb her. Taehyung nodded as he understood. He put his hand on his forehead, literally massaging, though the pain might reduce. His action being noticed by Tae. Tae, did you take your medicine? He looked into her eyes and smiled, though she won't argue. Taehyung, it is just a normal headache, and after waking up next morning, it will disappear. But Tae wasn't convinced with his answer. She came down from the bed and searched to the side drawer, only to find a bottle containing of medicine. She has no idea what is this, but somewhere she guesses what is needed. Tae, if this is your medicine, then take it now, she commanded. Taehyung, I am perfectly fine, don't worry. Tae, no, you are not. You are sick, and I saw the doctor at Dad's house. He injected you, and you are not fine. Taehyung was a little taken aback with her response. He didn't want to guess anything further if she knew or she don't. He took the medicine bottle from Taehyung and gulped the capsule with the water. Later, they went to bed with Sneha snuggling close into his arms. She clutched Taehyung's collar and dipped into his peaceful sleep. After 1 week, the mansion were in full swing, preparing wedding preparation of you and Jungkook. They already completed most of the ritual, and today was the final day of taking course before the holy fire. Only close relatives and friends were invited for the occasion. Sanaya was directed to the decor while Aman was engaged with the starter. Jungkook was in his room, probably getting ready. Currently, he was in a mood to talk with anyone. He just had to get into this. He wanted to shout at them so that they stop this nasty game, but again he was standing at the origin where he was been with friendship. Taehyung's room, Sanaya. Taehyung, she knocked the door several times. Sanaya. Tae, she was about to call again, but the door being unblocked from inside. Sanaya moved to Taehyung's face. He was looking pale, so does his lips were dry. Sanaya, you are not well? Taehyung, I am just having a little headache. I will be fine after having strong coffee. He lied. He didn't mention that he was just after throwing up. Taehyung, Sanaya, can you please call Aman? I need to discuss something with him. Sanaya was a little hesitant to leave him alone, and at the same time she couldn't find any other option other than calling Aman behalf of him. Just few minutes after Aman marched in Taehyung's room, he knew what his chief gonna ask him. Taehyung, where is my flight ticket? Aman took out a piece of paper where it written airlines. He handed it over to Taehyung. Aman, I already placed your suitcase in the truck, and later your driver will drive you to airport. Taehyung nodded in agreement and started to check the details of the ticket. He didn't want any mistake. Have intended to leave this country as soon as possible. Once he was done with the marriage, Aman excused himself while Taehyung was still lost examining the ticket. In sudden, he could feel a kind of hard wave in his heart. The cute little voice made him turn, and the word come out from her mouth literally shocked him. Dad. Tae was standing at the doorstep, wearing a blue pink dress. She was looking adorable with her hair left open and small bracelet tickling her wrist, making noise. Again, reality hit him when the word dad echoed in his ears. Seems his world and heartbeat stopped when his small little angel called him with the significant tag which was always bonded to him. Tae walked in as she was accepting her father to call her or hug her when she finally gave him the rights. Tae, Dad, she called again with her cracked voice. Taehyung was lost of words. He doesn't know what he should do now. He bent before Tae and carried her cheek. He always wanted her to call him Dad, but today she seemed did it. But it wasn't the easy for him to accept. He wasn't earning his right or his plate. In fact, he didn't want Tae to make him big. Taehyung, baby, you are mistaken. I am not your dad. It was so tough for him to deny the fact, but he was left with no option. But he didn't know that she had this conversation with her daddy. Tae, you lying. I know you are my dad. Taehyung hand brushed through his hair. Taehyung, no, I am not, he said, firmly getting up on his toes. Taehyung, I don't know what is playing in your mind, but let me clear myself that I am not your dad. I am not your father, and stop calling me dad. He put his word forward clearly so that the little girl would understand that he isn't her father. He wanted to accept it and take her in his arm, but suddenly he is just gone. Taehyung stood stiff ahead and he really need to get out from this room. But another voice of Tae stopped him, which made him run towards her. Tae weeping. You don't like Tae. Tae's dad don't love her. He don't love her. He bent down and took her in his arms. He hugged her tightly, expressing the love he has for his daughter. Taehyung, dad loved Tae a lot. His love for Tae is so deeper, which can't be measurable. He always wanted to run from all this, but again the destiny brought him at the same place. He made her stand on the bed while he wiped her tears. Tae dad, she touched his face using her palm, staring from his forehead, eyes, nose, cheeks, and lips. Tae dad, don't go. Taehyung hold her hand in his and kissed the soft skin. Taehyung, I need to go. I have some urgent work to complete. He lied. Tae, will you come back? He don't have answer for this. Yet again he lied. Taehyung, I will. Tae, what if you don't come back? She asked with her voice fading. And Mama, he placed his index finger on her lips to whisper. Taehyung, can you promise me that you will keep the secret, that you won't tell anyone that I am your dad and recording my leave? Can you? Hesitatingly she nods. Taehyung embraced his daughter and kissed her hair, as today might be the last day he would be able to see her and hold her. Time skips. The altar was ready, so does the priest, who was busy chanting mantras. Jungkook was seated on the stool with his hand clenching in a perfect punch. He avoided meeting his best friend Taehyung. Appropriately, he hated him a lot. The priest kissed Sanaya to bring the bride so that they can complete the marriage. Sanaya was about to walk towards the stage, but she had been stopped by Taehyung. Taehyung, I will go. She didn't say anything further and let him. Taehyung started to climb the stairs with his heart protesting heart. He promised you that he would give your hand to Jungkook, and today is the last chance he has to fulfill the promise that he gave you. Starting from the day they get married, he always cheated you and treasured your love, but today he going to give his life to someone. In Juice room, the bride was sitting on the bed with your eyes only on the mehendi which were drew on your palm. Few years ago you had some kind of same design on your pen with the alphabet written T, but today it was written something else. However, the room had been opened from outside. You still didn't lift your gaze up as you were still struggling with your heart. Taehyung walked inside, not before closing the door behind him. He saw you in the red green dress with your eyes fixed on your palm. He could understand what you were going through, as he too suffering from the same pain. He bent down on his knees and placed a dress on your lamp which you wore when you were going to marry Kim Taehyung. The same dress which you threw away when you learned the ugly side of your husband. You couldn't hold your tears anymore. It is shed on the material, making you look into your ex-husband's eyes. Taehyung composing himself. I know this piece of dress means nothing to you once you begin a new life, but I have a request. I want Tae, our daughter, to wear this dress when she's ready to embrace the wedding vows. We don't know what future store for us, and I don't know if I'm able to meet you again or not. Consider this as the last gift I could ever give to my daughter. You didn't say a word. Your eyes continuously sledding numerous of tears. Taehyung took the tendency to wipe your sorrow while he continued what he wanted to tell you before it too late to reach your ears. Taehyung, I don't know if my apology will be accepted or not due to my past deeds, but I still wanted to seek forgiveness for my mistakes. The word sorry couldn't do much to heal your bruise, and it won't change the fact that I have cheated you. I don't want to lose the last chance I had, and taking the opportunity, I wanted to apologize for every deed of mine. I am sorry you for being an unfaithful husband. I am sorry for betraying trust and love. I am sorry for every single mistake I committed towards you. If possible, please forgive me. You was probably stuck with the emotional battle you was having in your heart. Your tears already drenched your cheek again. You was crying since just now. He hold your hand and make you stood on your feet. Taehyung, everyone are waiting for you. You are waiting. Your knees were going weak. You didn't want to go. The moment you felt a strong grip on your hand with your whole body being forced to walk, you keep staring him with a lonely tear rolling on your cheek. Your heart cried in several pains. Every step he took in each second, the hold on your hand was getting tighter. You keep staring his back. Everyone eyes on them when he was bringing you downstairs, but none of them exchanged a word. You grip his hand with your another hand, which he currently holding. It was getting tough for you, but at least they know he was dying 1,000 times with his heart. His eyes moist, his subconscious was cursing him to stop. Finally, they reached the altar. He started to unlock the grip which he was holding tightly. Yunus poked his palm in a way of whispering him to stop. With the strength, he pulled out his hand from him. You keep looking at him, your heart bleeds seeing how adamant he is. He gave you a hand to Jungkook and they sit before the holy fire. You were weeping with your eyes only staring the fire. Your first marriage memory kept flashing before your eyes. Taehyung started to take a step backward with tears pooling in his eyes. He decided to disappear from here. It wasn't easy to see you getting married to someone else, even though that's what he wanted to. A lone tear rolled on his cheek when he reached the entrance of the mansion. He took out his mobile to dial for his driver as he wanted to reach airport and leave this country forever. However, his faith wasn't with him. The mobile fell on the ground with his vision getting blurred. He started to walk ahead, trying to blink his eyes several times, and at the same time, he didn't want anyone to notice him sick. He kept walking, but the next step couldn't able to bear the pain he was undergoing in his liver. He collapsed on the ground, hissing in pain. He had a tiny voice shaking in his ears. Tae, Dad, she was stunned to find her father lying on the ground. She wanted to rush towards him, but his screams made her glued. Taehyung, go away, just go away, Tae, please go away. He pleaded, trying to gain the strength to stand on his feet, but it wasn't possible. Tae rushed inside only to collide into Aman. She was weeping badly. Tae, Aman, uncle, dad. She was showing her finger towards the direction, and there Aman saw Taehyung struggling on the ground. He ran to help his chief, while Tae already went inside the mansion. Her crying was echoing in every corner of the mansion. The entire eyes moved towards her, with you looking at your daughter tearful eyes. You stood up from the stool which you were supposed to sit. Tae, Mama, Dad, hit Dad. Armies, I am writing to ending in next part. I will not detail in another ending. You run outside and saw him who is on the ground life ready. All take him to the hospital, but outside he died few minutes ago. You collapsed on the floor and cried hard. Tae also cried so much for her dad. Then you decide to live your life like always, taking care of Tae.